Hey, thanks for joining me. It's Lokazi casting for you some games from the StarCraft subreddit CastIt. Picked up this game earlier today to see what's going on. It's a TvT here on Belshire Beach. In the top left-hand corner we have Spuma as his tag for his clan, Broda as the red Terran, and in the bottom right we have DJHelium as the blue Terran spawning in down here. Customary exchange of pleasantries going on. Let's see what type of strategies these two players have here for us today. A SCV moving out a little bit early at 9. Okay, it's not dropping a supply depot. That's a really early scout, so either he wants to see if it's going to be a Reaper opening, because if you see gas when you get there at this time, it's going to be a Reaper opening, or maybe a proxy, because it's not going left here. Yeah, that's probably going to be a proxy setting up in the top right hand corner. Over here out of Broda though, pretty much all normal. Nothing weird going on by him. Racks at 12. So we're going to be, yeah, there it is. Okay, so it is going to be a proxy racks. Proxy Reapers, pretty decent, though Reapers are really fast, so there's not that much of a point in proxying so close. It's a little risky comparatively. Though, kind of a big map with forced cross positions. Not a giant map though, but Belshire Vestige is pretty large. So we'll have to see what he's going to do actually coming out of that. He is picking up the gas. It is later though than you would have for Reaper, but he did proxy, so that does kind of slow things down a little bit. Randomly lowering the supply depot using that APM, that's good. And entirely solid over here out of Broda. Literally the most standard build you could go over here out of Broda. And he's going to scout here with the SCV that finished that racks. He didn't send one earlier, which had he scouted he would have been pretty well aware that there was a proxy. But as it is, he's going to get there probably not that much longer after the first unit gets out. So what's this first? It's going to be a Marauder, which means, is this the old versus Protoss build where you would go proxy Marauders and get slow? Okay, yeah, he's going to go for slow. You would probably want slow in this situation. I haven't proxy racks versus Terran in a long time, but I'm guessing you want the slow just so Reapers don't keep getting away from your Marauders and they can actually kind of engage them one-on-one. That being said, Marauders have a ton of HP compared to Reapers, so they can actually probably take on 2 or 3 Reapers, especially with the slow. Now this SCV is running around, he's seeing that there's nothing here, so now he has to know it's proxy, and he just starts up a command center mine. He doesn't seem to be too worried about this proxy. A factory going down behind that, so still just pretty standard expand play out of Broda over here. He doesn't seem worried at all about this proxy. And he's going to start working on these supply depots. Get a decent amount of damage done on it. It's going to pick off a Marine. Yep, one Marine goes down. Second one looks like it might fall. Whoa, he lowered the supply depot. It was like, hey, come in and kill him. But it was a trap. These SCVs are going to try and move out and surround these Marauders. Marauders are very slow. SCVs should be able to surround them, but he's actually just right-clicking, which means he's not going to get the surround. He does pick up that SCV. Now he's slowly starting to get the surround here, but a lot of kiting being done by these two Marauders. One does go down. The third one did join the fight, though, and this Marauder does get zapped down by these SCVs. Is he going to be able to take out that Reaper? It doesn't look like it. Another Marauder coming in. Is he going to be able to pick up? Nope. Reaper's moving through the back, and he doesn't have stim or anything, so he's not going to be able to chase into the base. Meantime, Broda's sitting down here chilling, seeing if an expand is going down. The front is wide open. He can walk up and see a lot of information. What did he actually see here? Okay, he didn't see the command center started or the 2 other barracks. He's going to move in with these Reapers, though. They're probably going to deal a pretty good amount of damage. And this is the other big risk when you're proxying, because the Reapers can just run to your base and deal a ton of damage, and they heal. So even though the Marauders have a ton more HP, the Reapers can have a much larger effective health pool. Reapers moving in, look like they're almost picked off that SCV. Now they're going to try and deal a lot of damage here. They actually are just kind of randomly moving, which means he's probably busy. Yep, okay, up here he's microing against the 2 Marauders with a SCV. I'm not really sure why that took his attention. Whoa, these 2 Reapers almost died to SCVs. Very close here. Well, these SCVs, okay, he decided to start microing them. Alright, they're starting to heal now. They should be okay as long as he keeps microing. And they do make it out alive. Two Marauders are not going to try and move up. They know that there's that Widow Mine there, so they're just going to try and deal what damage they can. They did supply block. Getting 2 supply depots is a pretty good deal over here. These 2 Reapers are up to 8 kills between them, though. These Marauders, 1 kill, 3 kills, 1 kill, so 4 kills and 2 supply depots. Pretty good exchange there, actually. Pretty big pull of these SCVs, though, to chase off those 2 Reapers. Now, 2 Marines are going to finish up. The Reapers I don't think are going to want to be sticking around for that, though. This map has a pretty limited space that you can jump up on. It's right here and right here, making Reapers not the best opening, but Reaper opening is really strong on every map, so 1 goes down. The second one does look like, oh, never mind, there's a Hellion out. Hellions can chase down Reapers still, especially well microed. He's trapping him with these Marauders, so even if he turns this corner up here, he is going to get picked off by the Marauders, and the Hellion gets the last shot on it. And this proxy Rax is going to be moved back down to his base. It's pretty far ahead here. Let's look at the worker count right now. It's 23 to 19. Both of them have their second up. The Orbital is actually finishing for Broda, or the Orbital is actually already finished for Broda, while DJHelium is actually a little bit behind here. He's adding on another Rax. His infrastructure actually is slightly behind. He is up on the Rax count, though one of them is floating back, and he's only up 1 there. But this starport is pumping out its first Banshee. There's quite a few Widow Mines here. Generally, you want to space out these Widow Mines a little bit more, because right now 1 scan can take all of this, and he knows that there's a Widow Mine at the top of the ramp. So that's a little bit dangerous here. Moving out across the map to pick up those watchtowers, always a good call. Hopefully you can be able to catch some information there. Starport swapping over. It's going to start pumping out what I would imagine to be medvacs for drops, as he appears to be going for a bio style. And DJHelium taking those watchtowers pays off. He sees this Banshee coming across the middle of the map. And what reaction are we going to see over here out of Helium? Alright, so he starts up a Viking in addition to that 1 medvac. And Cloak is finished, so he can pick off a lot of these Marines if he's really careful. At the very least, burn a scan. 2 Marines picked off. Third one getting low, but a second one getting worked on. Okay, 3 down. And now he's being really cautious because he knows there's enough energy right there. He sees... Whoa. Let's not go back. Alright, I stepped back in the replay. Accidentally hit V there, my bad. And he's picking off these Marines, like I said. It's almost as if we jumped 10 seconds into the past. Okay. So deciding to work on the refinery, wasting 4 shots on it. That's 2 SCVs he could have picked off. Just a handful of Marines here left. There is enough for a scan. Is he going to burn it, though? Could have killed it right there if he had used the scan, but he probably thinks it's probably low energy and was going to reveal itself anyway. Second Banshee coming across the map to replace it. Both players have their expansions set up. Helium's setting up a missile turret in his expansion. He already has a few SCVs on it. Though Broda did pick up gases, which means he's probably going to go mech. Yeah, okay. A factory going down over here. And of course he's going mech. Had I looked at the production, I would see that he already finished an armory, and there are Hellbats on the way. So he is going to be going mech versus bio. So what you don't want to do as a Terran when you're going bio, so in DJHelium's position, is you're going to want to drop like crazy, because it's going to be extremely difficult to take on a mech army without any tanks of your own, which he doesn't have any tanks. He hasn't added on a tech lab to his factory or anything. So that's kind of interesting. Alright, he's going to start up his third. Anything else going on over here? He has his barracks off to the side waiting for drops. A third factory going down. Pretty low army count for both sides right now. They're just kind of both macroing up a little bit. And we have Stim most of the way done. Helium positioning for this medvac drop that he saw coming across the map. It's going to walk into its doom if Broda isn't careful. Oh, this is bad. And he's not watching it at all. Okay, it does get picked off, so that was 2 Hellions and a medvac for free. Not what you want to be exchanging, though that drop could have done a ton of damage, so I understand that. And a big drop loaded up here for Helium. He's going to head across the map. He has both these watchtowers for vision, so he's going to be able to get all the way across the map probably until... Looks like he's kind of on path to go over that Rax. Oh, will this Banshee catch him? No. Slight diversion. Very nice read. He saw it coming with the watchtower and just jumped over to the side just out of the range of that Banshee. This Banshee's going to move down, see if there's a third up. Good check there by Broda. And now the drop is revealed. How's he going to react to it, though? This is a pretty big drop. He actually has enough forces to deal a ton of damage here. The one siege tank that is out just went down. There are quite a few battle Hellions, though. Hellbats are quite good versus Terran Bio, for sure. Looks like he's going to try and focus down the orbital command. Oh, nope, he just picks up. There's nothing there on the ground that can actually... he was attacking his own supply depot. There's nothing there on the ground that can actually attack air, and this is kind of the weakness of Terran mech versus drop play. A, it's immobile. It's really slow comparatively. B, it can't shoot up till you get Thors. So it can deal a lot of... drops can deal a ton of damage here. And they are. They're dealing so much damage. The unit's lost pretty heavily in favor of Helium. And he's just going to move over. These two refineries are actually finished before the command center got over there. So looks like he's just going to work on those while healing up his units. He might actually pick those off. Okay, yeah. He actually picks both of those off. So that's 150 minerals. That doesn't really seem like a lot, but it's a decent amount to pick off for free. There's a Raven out right now. 2 more drops coming across the map right now. And this is definitely what you want to do. You want to spread your opponent out. This mech is way more immobile than the Bioforce, so you want to be trying to get them to spread out a lot. There's the boost. I was waiting for it. Medvacs coming in. Looks like they might be able to take out some of... Oop, lots of Widow Mines burrowing down. Big scan going off, though. He backs away just in time. Very nicely done. Finishes unloading. Picks off one of the mines. Looks like he might pick off a second mine in the starport. Nope, doesn't finish that mine. Starport's slowly burning down. Okay, he picks off that other mine. So now there's just... both of those did die. The starport looks like it might burn down if it's not repaired. And these drops getting away safely. Meanwhile, redropping over here at the third. Lots of drop play going on here by DJHelium. Love Masters Terran players. They always teach me so much. All their drop play is so good. I wish I was this fast on my micro. And that was just kind of a not even attack move. That just kind of walked over. So Broda mismicroing a little bit there. Viking looks like it might... oh, almost picked off that medvac. Boost wearing off right now. A few SCVs out in the middle of the map for Broda taking those watchtowers. Drop on these 2 tanks. Really what you want to do, again, with Terran Bio, you want to be trying to clear out the tanks, spread out the mech player as much as you can by dropping everywhere. Which he has. He's forced this back up. He's picking off supply depots. In the meantime, re-threatening the drop over here at the natural. This Viking dealing a lot of damage, though. It did take out one of the medvacs. Now he's going to back up so it doesn't get picked off. And those Marines finally are seeing their ends. The Marauder may die too. Yep, he does get picked off. And this other drop goes back and is perfectly safe. And the third has now been established for Helium here. So all that harassment, poking, pushing around, he's taken his third behind it. He's now up 55 to 24 SCVs. There's pretty much no way Broda can come back in this game right now. The army supplies are actually in Broda's favor. So if he goes for a direct engagement, he may be able to win, but only if he pushes onto the supply, the actual production over here of Helium fast enough. Elsewise, he's going to lose flat out just in terms of production. He needs to get on top of those racks if he wants to have a chance of coming back in this game. All the SCVs in the world are not going to help you as far as mining if somebody's sitting on top of your production. Alright, big scans going out from both sides, seeing what's going on. Tanks siege up, and Helium is forced back here. New tank line being established. The old one should be unsieging and jumping forward. Meanwhile, a drop back at the main base of Broda, actually the expansion. He's going to pick off this command center. He's going to pick off the third if he's not careful. And Broda is moving up to repair it. Siege tanks getting some shots on here. These siege tanks should be enough to defend it if these SCVs repair these tanks, because there's Hellions there too. But they're not. They're not repairing the tanks at all. And the first tank goes down. Battle Hellion focused. The Hellbat goes down. The second siege tank goes down. Now there's just one Hellion. And all these SCVs and mules who are even more worthless than SCVs in a fight. And this 1-1 is going to get taken out. Scan going down. It looks like Helium's just going to try and push in all these tanks. Oh, very smart. He actually sent in the SCVs first to tank the shots from the north, an entirely different direction, and just sweeps in with the Bio. Bio takes no shots, and Helium takes that game with a very convincing little pincer move down here with excellent drop play versus Broda. That was pretty intense, that last fight especially, where he just threw his SCVs that were from his third. He's like, well, I can win the game right here if I just throw away those SCVs. totally worth it. So very nicely played by Broda. Good job spreading out the Terran mech army, definitely what you want to do, and being very cautious on his drops. He held the watchtowers the entire game, which if you're going to be dropping, you want to take the watchtowers, so both sides should keep that in mind in a TvT. And then he defended that one drop that had a potential of dealing a lot of damage, the one Hellbat drop that did actually occur in this game. Usually you see a lot more Hellbat drops, but anyway, really keeping the production down of Broda by continually forcing SCVs away from the orbitals, and then actually just taking out orbitals on a few occasions there too, or forcing lifts at the very least. So great game, and this is a Lokazi casting for you. I cast sometimes for the CastIt subreddit. I've casted quite a few things. I cast the University of Houston CSL, stuff like that. Anyway, tune into me. You can see my social media. Follow me on there. I cast most evenings or stream at the very least. And thanks for providing replays, StarCraft CastIt. I hope to find some